In our 2021 Black Friday sale, you can save 40% on all Coffee Break Languages courses. You can benefit from huge savings on Coffee Break English, French, Chinese, German, Spanish, Italian and Swedish, simply by using the coupon code BF2021 at checkout. Our sale is now on and runs until the 30th of November. That's not all. We are also running a prize draw this week in which you could win our entire learning library. That's over £4,500 or $6,000 worth of language courses. This is our biggest sale ever, and there won't be discounts like this again for at least another year. For everything you need to know, head to coffeebreaklanguages.com/BF2021 and we'll see you there. We will see you there. We'll see you here right now. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening to you all. My name is Marc. Moi, je m'appelle Marc. Je suis Marc, votre professeur de français de Coffee Break French. Aujourd'hui, nous allons parler de Coffee Break French. We're going to talk about Coffee Break French and about all the aspects of Coffee Break French that can help you make progress with your learning of French. Now, today we should be live on both our YouTube channel and our Coffee Break French Facebook page. Now, obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you might be learning another language. If you're learning another language, then we've got other projects for you, other lives for you. But today we're focusing on French. Obviously, if you're watching on Facebook, you'll be learning French because you're a Coffee Break French follower on Facebook. But either way, we're delighted to be here. Now, let me just check that everything is working. It is a live broadcast, so I need to make sure. Right, okay, so that's not working. Let me see. Yep, that's working now. I need to make sure that everything is working and that we can see the slides. That's not looking good. Let me see. Here we go. Yes, we've got our slides now. Right, I just need to do one little thing here to change my setup so that I can make sure I can come back to the slides easily. So give me 1 second while I sort this out live. So that button there needs to go to this button here. And then we should have these buttons here. Yep, that's all good. So that is all working. Okay, we can begin. However, before we begin, it was only right for me to say hello to you and you to say hello to me. So let me know where you're watching from and how long you've been learning French in the comments. I should be able to see the comments coming through on my screen, and that way I can post any questions on the screen and we can talk about them together. If you do have any questions, then it would be great to post the word question before your question, and that way I will see things coming through. Let me just double check. Okay, so I'm just going to pause the notifications here. All good. So, as I say, let me know in the chat where you're learning from or where you're viewing from and how long you've been learning French for. I also should mention I've got a bit of a cough, so if I need to stop for a cough, I'll hopefully be able to press my mute button and you'll not hear me cough. So all is good. But for now, let's get started. We're going to look at what we're focusing on today. So if we bring up our slides, as I said, we have done some other focuses this week on our Italian courses. That was on Tuesday. The replay is available of that, of course. And on Wednesday, we looked at German. Tomorrow, we're looking at Spanish. So if you're a Spanish learner, come along then. And really, the idea of this whole Black Friday live session is to give you an understanding of where to start with our courses. Many of you may have come across Coffee Break French through podcasts or through our social media or perhaps through our newsletter. But sometimes it's a little difficult to know exactly where to start when it comes to our premium courses. We have our online courses in the Coffee Break Academy, and that's what we can see here. We've got all the selection of different courses at different levels. And today I'm going to be talking through all of those courses to explain exactly what they're all involving. And that way you will know exactly where to start so that you can take advantage of our Black Friday sale in which we are offering 40% off. But I'll come to that a little later. Okay, let's see who we've got. We've got Mariana joining us from Copenhagen, studying French for a few years and started CBF this year. Fantastic. Merci beaucoup, Mariana. Miko is saying, I've been living in Edinburgh for 5 years, been following your channel and podcast for a while. This is my second year learning French. Très bien. Annie is watching from Washington, D.C. suburbs. Spoke French when my dad was a diplomat in Belgium, doing Coffee Break French for 2 years, but have a question now. You've asked your question. It's not actually coming through on my screen, Annie, so perhaps if you could put in question again, if you don't mind posting that again, that would be great, and that way I'll be able to see it, and we'll take some questions a bit later on. So, as I said, let's begin by having a look at the range of Coffee Break French courses that we have. First of all, we have our main seasons. So season 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this takes you from absolute beginner level in season 1 up to a B2 level, into C1 almost, with season 4. And I'll be talking through each of these, explaining what the premium course involves, and also giving you some samples of them, showing you on the Coffee Break Academy what this all looks like. We also have shorter courses. We have our Coffee Break Magazine, season 1. And that is a course of 10 cultural topics, and we've got our Verb Fix, focusing on verbs, our travel diaries, focusing on travel and doing our route through different parts of the French-speaking world, and our En Route course, which is also focused on travel, but is quite different. Again, I'll be showing you more details about this a little later. We also have our reading club, seasons 1 and 2, where you get weekly texts. Again, more information coming later. And of course, our advanced course, La Vérité éclate toujours, which basically outlines, or it basically takes the form of a novel, which you're reading along with us, and we talk you through the whole course. And that's available in 4 sections, in 4 parts, so 10 lessons in each part, or it's also available as a complete course as well. But I'll go through more information about that later. What I'd like to do to begin with is focus on season 1. Season 1 is for absolute beginners. So absolute beginners, either completely never having learned a word of French before, or what we would term as false beginners. So that's perhaps if you've already done some French, maybe you did some French back at school, but you've forgotten a lot of it and you want to revisit your French. So season 1 will give you that solid grounding. We're focusing on transactional language, the kind of language that you may use if you're visiting France, if you're visiting a French-speaking country, or simply getting to know some neighbours who happen to speak French. Whatever the purpose of language you're learning is, basically it's that transactional language that we would be focusing on in our season 1 course. That of course means greetings, talking about yourself, practical language topics for travel, and also not shying away from the whole idea of the grammar of French. It's important to look at the grammar even from an early stage, because by learning the grammar, I always think that the grammar of a language is kind of like the skeleton, because that's what holds everything together. So the grammar is very important, but we don't go into it in a huge amount of detail in season 1, but we do touch on the patterns and help you understand how the language works, so that you're not simply learning a phrase, but you're learning how the phrase is constructed, how to actually construct the phrase yourself. And that is very, very important when you're learning a language. So all of this in season 1 is for building these strong foundations to help you take your French to a new level. Now, you may have come across our podcast for season 1, and this is our main Coffee Break French podcast, which you can listen to on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. Basically, you'll find Coffee Break French. And if you scroll way, way back to the beginning of the launch of Coffee Break French back in 2008, you'll find season 1 audio lessons. And every single day, thousands, if not tens or hundreds of thousands of people download those early lessons to start learning French with our free podcasts. However, the free podcasts are only part of the story. We also offer our online course, and the online course provides much more. You get the audio lessons, of course, but you also get a video version of the lesson where you see the words on screen and you can follow the words on screen and learn how the words are written. You get lesson notes, you get bonus audio content, and you get quizzes to test your understanding of what you've learned. So all of this in season 1 will enable you to take that learning further, to make it more, to make your learning deeper, and you'll be able to make faster progress as a result. What I'd like to do now is just jump over to the Coffee Break Academy, So let me just pause 1 second here. Okay, so we're in the Coffee Break Academy and we're going to take a look at Season 1. So here's Coffee Break French Season 1. If we click into Coffee Break French Season 1, then we can see all the topics of the course. I seem to have disappeared. Here I'm back. So we can scroll through all of the contents and see the kind of topics that are being covered. So talking about where you live, introducing your family, numbers, talking about your job, the weather, also talking about language and your ability to speak French or saying you don't understand, asking for directions, getting about the town, ordering drinks and so on. So all of these focus on different elements that you would need to use to learn to speak French. So let's jump into this one, talking about the weather. If we go into our video lesson here, you can see that the video loads in. We can see the video full screen. So if we click play, so I'll skip on a little in the video, and you can see
Quel temps fait-il?
that we're looking at the words that we're
Quel
teaching
temps
here on the
fait-il?
screen.
Okay, so that means what is the weather like? What's the weather doing? What's today's weather? Well, there's no word for today in there yet because we're about to learn that. The word for today, as you probably know, is aujourd'hui.
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 Now, you can see there that I, as the teacher, am teaching a learner, and that's Anna. So you are learning along with Anna. And the idea is that Anna may well have some questions about what she's learning, and these are likely to be the questions that you may have too. And Anna will make mistakes from time to time or get her pronunciation wrong. And of course, as I correct her and help her get the right pronunciation, this is helping you understand the way in which these words are pronounced. So right the way through the video, you can see the words appear on the screen. Il fait vraiment froid aujourd'hui. So you've got all the words on the screen for the whole video. Of course, you get the audio version of that same lesson, which you can then listen to when you're out and about. If you're out a walk or running or in the car or something like that, you're able to listen to the audio lesson. And we also provide lesson notes. If you're more of a visual learner, you may want to sit down and read the lesson notes and make your own notes on these lesson notes, which are obviously linked to the audio and video lessons, so you can follow these and listen along with the lesson at the same time. And we also provide a bonus audio episode, and that gives you the chance to consolidate the language that's covered in the main lesson. So each episode has a bonus audio episode, and that will allow you to practice further what you've been covering in that main lesson. So this is season 1. Season 1 has 40 lessons in total, and as I say, it takes you from absolute beginning, when we're really focusing on pronunciation and getting the sounds of French right, and then moving on into A2 level, basically. So A1 and A2 level. And we don't say that Coffee Break French season 1 is A1 and season 2 is A2 and so on. But the courses move between the levels. So in Coffee Break season 1, you'll be doing A1 into A2 content. And hopefully that makes sense if you're familiar with the European, the CEFR, the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. Okay, so season 1 then, as I say, 40 lessons of beginners to upper beginners content, if you like. Season 2 is in fact very similar, but it takes you on further. So further practical situations, in-depth study of the grammar. So we're really getting into the grammar in a deeper way in season 2. Because we'll be looking at a variety of tenses, for example. You'll be learning how to use various words that work in particular ways. You'll be learning different sort of verbal expressions, things like avant de faire quelque chose, so before doing something, or venir de faire quelque chose, to have just done something. So these kind of expressions. And you'll also be learning different tenses. You're going to be learning to manipulate the language much more in season 2 and extend that knowledge that you've built in season 1. And season 2 moves on into A2, solidly into A2, and also into B1 on that European Framework of Reference. At the end of season 2, we have a kind of soap opera. So the last 10 lessons are a radio play, if you like, or a soap opera where you're following the story of different people in travelling, and they are using the French that you've been learning through the whole season. So in terms of the premium materials, again, we've got free podcasts, but we also have our online course, which offers the same elements as season 1. So let me jump over again to the Coffee Break Academy. We'll just switch out here from Coffee Break French season 1 and come back to my courses. And let's find Coffee Break French season 2. So here it's down here. So we'll open this one up. And you can see here, immediately we're looking at, in a sense, more grammatical things. So the present tense, daily routine, using reflexive verbs. So these are the verbs which, in a sense, you do to yourself. So, for example, you get yourself up in the morning, you wash yourself, and so on. We look at making arrangements. We look at saying what you're going to do, using aller plus the infinitive. And it continues on in this vein, but all of this is with practical examples and with conversations and so on. So let's jump into this one. So this is an example. More verbs which form the perfect tense. In fact, you know what we'll do? We'll look at lesson 16, which is the introduction to the perfect tense, using être as our auxiliary verb. I've just realised I'm not on the screen anymore. If you are not familiar with this concept, if you've just started learning French, don't worry. This is something that you would be learning in season 2. It's something that comes once you're moving towards an intermediate level in French, where you can talk about the past. You have to use a particular verb to talk about the past, and that one is either avoir or être. So some verbs take être, and that's what we will be looking at here. Here I am. So let's have a look at this. Again, it's me as a teacher with Anna as our learner. I'll skip ahead.
What's changing today is the auxiliary verb. Which auxiliary verb we're going to use? Now, in today's lesson, we're going to be talking about a specific verb, and that verb is the verb to go. Anna, what is to go in French?
Aller.
Aller. Okay. And in this situation, we're going to combine aller with its auxiliary verb, which isn't avoir, but être. So, as usual, we take a part of the auxiliary verb.
So again, as the lesson progresses, you're seeing the words on screen. If we just skip forward to some parts where we're looking at multiple situations with our past participle, I'll just play this here.
Actually have all 4 options. A-double-L-E acute for male singular formal. A-double-L-E acute E for female singular formal. A-double-L-E acute S for male plural informal or formal.
So you get the idea. You're seeing the words on screen. Oh, I'll just pause that. You're seeing the words on screen as we're talking about them. So in a sense, it's like watching slides or something like that, which are accompanying the audio, helping you see how the words are written. Again, with the course, you would get access, of course, to the audio lesson for each lesson, the lesson notes again, and I'll just scroll through this. So you're seeing the explanations. And everything is explained in a very friendly way. So it's not like a sort of traditional grammar book or anything, with the bonus audio as well. It's like a coffee break. You're going for a coffee with a friend who happens to be able to speak the language and help you learn that language. That's our whole idea behind Coffee Break Languages. So every lesson needs to be friendly and easy to manage. So that is Coffee Break French Season 2 for upper beginners or lower intermediate learners. Again, you can see all of the content on our website, and you can see all of the lessons split up to see what the topics are, if you're looking for some more information about Season 2. Again, if you have any questions, please do post them in the chat. I will be getting to questions in a moment. We're going to look at some more intermediate courses, and then I'll take some questions before we go on to look at the advanced courses. So that is Season 2. We also have our Coffee Break French magazine, where we're talking about 10 lessons with the Coffee Break French magazine. And these are 10 lessons focusing on cultural topics from the French-speaking world. So in each episode, we're going to be covering a text. And this text has been specially written for intermediate learners, and it's focusing on an element of culture. It could be we've got an episode about Quebec and the city of Montreal or Montréal. I said that in a strange half French, half English accent there. Montreal or Montréal. We have episodes about Belgian comics, for example. We have episodes about food and literature and so on. So in each lesson, you're building your understanding of grammar, you're developing this awareness of the culture, but you're also being exposed to new vocabulary. When it comes to learning a language, we always say that at the beginning you kind of go straight forward because you're making lots of progress and all the things you learn are new. But then there comes a point when you can't really go straight forward anymore. You have to sort of go in a kind of wider path because you'll get to certain things and you think, oh, I might go and discover this. So you go down a little path and discover that and then come back to the main path and go on a little bit and then go off to another path and so on. And that's the whole idea of learning a language, because every single one of those little detours has something valuable to give. It's got something which will help you expand your language and extend your understanding. So that's why we try to provide lots of content at this intermediate level for you. If you've completed season 2, you can go on and take more lessons with us in the shape of the magazine. We also have our travel diaries. And the travel diaries are stories where we're following learners or native speakers as they travel around different parts of France. In the first 2 seasons, it's both in France. In season 3, which is out next year, we're traveling to Canada. So again, it's 10 lessons, and each text, once more, is written in such a way that learners of an intermediate level are able to understand bits of it, but are kind of pushed on to understanding more. So again, this is about consolidating that language at that level and building your understanding of grammar with new vocabulary, and again, very much a cultural awareness of visiting different places within the French-speaking world. So our online course for the travel diaries includes audio lessons, lesson notes, and pronunciation practice videos. And for the magazine, it's audio lessons, lesson notes, and vocabulary and exercises. So slightly different for both. Let's take a quick look at the travel diaries, for example, in the Coffee Break Academy. So if I come out here and just jump back to my courses again. So here we go. Into my courses, and we've got Travel Diaries Season 2 here. So if we click into this, so you can see we start off in Paris, Paris, un jour, une nuit. Then we are going to Rouen and the Impressionist painters, a fishing workshop. We're visiting the Normandy beaches, and then a typical Normandy, and so on. So we do different things in each lesson. Let's just go to this one about Tours. So we've got the audio and the notes here, so we can listen to the audio. Coffee Break French Travel Diaries, Season 2, Episode 8. We'll just jump to...
Au revoir et de reprendre la voiture. Cette fois, nous allons à Tours. On a chacun conduit 1 heure car le voyage était un peu long.
So I'll just pause that there. So you heard a little bit of the text being read of this particular travel diary entry. And you'll see here, you've got the transcript of the text and then some vocabulary and explanations. And then the text continues. But in the audio, of course, we discuss all this. I think if I play that around here, we should hear a little discussion. Or their inability to eat outside was part of the narrative, it's part of the story. So there was a lot of wind, so, boom, we were not able to eat outside.
Très bien, très bien. Yes, just a fact.
Okay.
Le propriétaire de la ferme, Pascal, nous a fait du feu dans la cheminée de la salle à manger.
Okay, so it's quite difficult when you're skipping into a lesson like that to find exactly where the part is that we're looking for. But of course, you can work through this yourself. You've got all the notes there. And you've also got this pronunciation practice video where you hear each sentence and we leave a space for you to practice repeating it. So let's have a look at this.
En début de journée, puisqu'il y avait beaucoup de vent, nous n'avons pas pu déjeuner dehors comme hier. Le propriétaire de la ferme, Pascal,
So there, with this, we're hearing each part of the sentence. We're leaving a space for you to repeat that, and you can listen back and practice the way in which you're pronouncing it and comparing it to what is on the pronunciation practice video. So that is just a quick look at our travel diaries. Again, for lower intermediate learners with the travel diaries and the Coffee Break French magazine too. Let me just fix this. Okay, so far we've looked at Season 1, Season 2, our travel diaries and the Coffee Break French magazine. I also want to mention the Reading Club. The Reading Club is where we are providing weekly texts for you, one text every week for a year. And this allows you to build your reading skills, of course, but also build your listening skills, because we provide an audio version of that text, both at a slow pace, speed, and a normal speed. So that gives you the chance to listen to it while you're reading and then build up your understanding as you listen to it at a more normal reading speed. We also provide exercises with the Reading Club. And the great thing about the Reading Club is that over these 52 weeks, you're picking up all this cultural information about the French-speaking world. And one of the key things about learning a language is being able to interact with native speakers and knowing the information that they have grown up with. So I've grown up in Scotland, so there are certain things I just know about Scotland, about the UK, about this sort of universal culture that people grew up with here. If I had grown up in France, then I would know different things. So as you learn more about culture, you get to know about so many of these things that native speakers have grown up with. This means that you understand more. You've got this cultural placement, this cultural understanding that helps you when it comes to actually learning the language. Okay, we're going to pause here because we're going to go on and talk about Season 3, Season 4, La Vérité, and also En Route. But I realise we've got lots of questions coming in, so I'm going to have a look at some of the questions now. So Keimiko is asking, what's the difference between this course and the content for your channel and podcast? So hopefully we're starting to explain this. You're seeing that on our YouTube channel, for example, we offer free videos. These are the Q&A videos, our Coffee Break French to-go videos, things like that. And on our podcast, obviously, we offer all the audio lessons. But the courses are very much to enhance those audio lessons, where you can get access to the reading materials, the bonus listening materials, video versions, exercises, quizzes, and so on. And they very much go hand in hand with them. Annie, thank you for posting your question again. Is it possible to take a class where there's written work, quizzes, etc., to make it seem more like school? I need some structure with metrics. Absolutely. We actually have the perfect course for you if you're looking for a very structured course, and that is our Coffee Break French Masterclass. However, the Masterclass only runs at certain times in the year, and we started a Masterclass in October. September. We started it in September. So we're in the third month of that now, with lots of students going through this course, and we'll be running it again next year, in the spring probably. We've yet to identify exactly the date for the Masterclass starting. But when the Masterclass runs again, then I would definitely suggest that would be something that you should consider. I'll also mention here one other thing, and that is our Coffee Break French Club, which is not yet launched, but is coming in the new year. And this is a system whereby we'll be providing new exclusive content every day of the week for you to practice your French. Now, this will be in reading materials, listening materials, writing tasks, where we'll be able to give you feedback, and also videos. We're busy filming a whole lot of videos for this new Coffee Break French Club. Now, I don't want to say too much about the club at the moment because it's not launching until January, and it's actually not part of the sale. You can't buy it ahead of time. But we will be telling you more about that, and as long as you're on our newsletter list, you'll definitely find out more about that. That's the wrong link. There's the link. So make sure you are subscribed to our newsletter, and in order to find out when the club is launched. And I should also say that the club and the masterclass are restricted numbers. So you need to get in early if you want to be part of the inaugural cohort of the Coffee Break French Club. But more about that another time. Let's see who else? So Keimiko is asking, does the course come with speaking practice with real people? At the moment, our main seasons don't come with speaking practice with real people. That's something that you can organise yourself if you want. There are lots of services out there where you can book a slot with a tutor. The pricing that we have for our main courses would not enable us to offer speaking practice with real people. They would be much, much more expensive if we were offering that. So unfortunately, we are not doing that at the moment. It's maybe something that we will include later, and it's something that we plan to offer as part of our Coffee Break French Club later in 2022. Gayatri is asking more about Coffee Break French Season 3 and what one can learn from this season. Gayatri, I'm just going to be moving on to that very soon. So thanks for that. Grace has just started physiotherapy at uni, but want to keep up my French from A-level. Fantastic. Well, Coffee Break French is a perfect way to do that, and I would say very much try to keep it up, keep your French going as much as possible, Grace. And the great thing is that it only really takes maybe 15 minutes a day for you to keep your level up. So good luck with that. Bon courage, and good luck with your physiotherapy too. John is asking, what's Anna doing now? Well, Anna is no longer working with us. She no longer works with us when she was our learner for seasons 1 and 2 of Coffee Break French. But she is doing other things now. She has a family, and we keep in touch, but she's not working with us actively on any Coffee Break French stuff. But she always keeps in touch with Coffee Break French and knows what's going on. Bonnie's saying, French Travel Diaries got me through the pandemic lockdown part 1. Thank you. De rien. We're glad that we were able to help. Tomo is saying, how long can we see such contents once we purchase the course? That's a really good question. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So, Tomo, the answer to your question is forever. So when you purchase the course, you have access to that course. You can download it to your computer, all the videos, the audio, the PDFs and so on. You can download that and store that on your own device for as long as you need. And you'll also have access to it in the Coffee Break Academy. It's not the case with our main courses that you have to pay a subscription and you have to pay again next year and so on. That will be the case with the Coffee Break Club, but that's a different scenario because we're actually providing you with feedback and you're engaging with other learners and so on. So that's quite different. With these courses, with our season 1, 2, 3, 4 courses and our other courses I've already mentioned, the magazine, the travel diaries and so on, these are single one-off purchases. You buy them, you have access to them all, whichever one you have bought, for as long as you need. So I hope that answers your question, Tomo. Bin is asking, are the travel diaries and CBF magazines considered separate season purchase from season 2? Yes, they are. So each of our courses, if I just go back here, each of these different courses are separate purchases. So if you buy season 1, then, excuse me, sorry, I have been talking all week, so I apologise for this, but hopefully it's not putting you off too much. With Coffee Break French Season 1, that's a separate course. The magazine Season 1, it's not linked to Season 1. In fact, it's further on, it's more advanced than Season 1, but it's just the Season 1 of the magazine. Likewise, I'll come back to High Five a little later, with our Reading Club Season 1 and Season 2. These are not linked to Coffee Break French Season 1 and Season 2. They're just the first part of those courses. So each course is a separate purchase. Sometimes there are bundles. For example, you'll see here the Travel Diaries bundle. Our Travel Diaries bundle will give you access to both Seasons 1 and 2. So you would be able to save money there and use the bundle in order to buy that and get both of them at once. Hopefully that answers your question. So Anita is asking, is there an option to have students who are all taking the masterclass meet up? I wouldn't mind sharing my contact info with people in my city so we could meet to discuss the book. So something like the masterclass is limited to, normally we have around 100 people going through the masterclass at any one time. and from all over the world. These are people from all over the world. Sometimes it does happen that people happen to be in the same city, but it's not something that we have organised actively. It's maybe something that you yourself could organise, but that's not something we organise ourselves. And the masterclass is not based around a book. Just to be clear, La Vérité éclate toujours is based around a book, but I'll come back to that in a little while. C of E is asking, is it best to do Reading Club 1 and then Reading Club 2 rather than both at the same time? The Reading Club contents in Season 2 are very similar in level to Season 1, so you probably wouldn't notice a huge difference. There's a very slight increase in level, but if you started Reading Club Season 1 today, for example, and go through those for a couple of weeks and see what you think of the level of the texts, then and if you find that okay, if you find that challenging, then I would wait and do Season 2 after that. Or if you prefer, then after a couple of weeks, then you could sign up for Season 2 and do them simultaneously. That would be absolutely fine. Ethan's saying, just wanted to say thank you for all the content you produce. I've been binge listening to Coffee Break Spanish. Really love the travel diaries. Will there be a Season 3? Yes, there will be a Season 3 of Travel Diaries in 2022, and actually coming before that in 2022, both for Spanish and French, we have a new season of the magazine, which we've been recording over the past few weeks, and I think you'll really enjoy the Coffee Break Spanish and Coffee Break French magazines, the new seasons of them. And these will also be linked to our Coffee Break Club, so there's lots of new content coming in 2022 for you to look forward to. Okay, keep the questions coming. I'm very happy to answer any questions you have, either about our courses or about how to take advantage of our 40% off over this weekend, basically until Tuesday. You've got the chance to get 40% off. I'll tell you a little bit that later. For now, let us return to our slides because I'd like to talk about our more advanced courses. And the first one I'd like to mention here is En route avec Coffee Break French. The idea of this course is that it very much takes you on virtual travels with me as we go around the south of France. I used to live and work in a town called Menton in the south of France, and recently, a few years back now, I returned there with cameras, microphones and so on, and interviewed people who live there, work there, about different aspects of life. So there are some really fascinating episodes of En route where you're really learning about that part of the world. And all of the conversations are authentic conversations. So everything that you listen to within this course is an authentic conversation which has taken place between native speakers or indeed me and some people that I'm interviewing. For example, one of the episodes is based around Menton sits on the Italian border. So one of the episodes is about how people live a bilingual life on the border and how they perhaps have breakfast in one country and lunch in another country, or indeed they perhaps live in one country but go to work in a different country. So it's really, really interesting stuff. Let's take a quick look at En route in the Coffee Break Academy because we have it here. The other really nice thing about En route is that there's quite a lot of video content as well. So let me see if we can jump into an episode. So you've got access, of course, to lesson notes, and the lesson notes break everything up, and you've got a transcript basically of all of the French used in the episode, and with vocabulary here provided. And then if I jump to so here is a little bonus video from episode 2 where we're walking, talking and learning. Let's have a quick look at this.
Et voilà un exemple parfait de ce qu'on peut faire pendant qu'on attend quelque chose. A perfect example of what you can do while you're waiting for something. I'm waiting for a bus, and I noticed on the bus stop an explanation about la communauté d'agglomération de la Riviera Française. Now that is the community of the urban area of the French Riviera. Okay, la communauté d'agglomération de la Riviera Française. So the explanation is la communauté d'agglomération de la Riviera Française est composée de 10 communes. It's composed of 10 communes, 10 towns, 10 urban areas, et d'une population de 65 587 habitants. So there's a number in there, a big number. 65 065.
So I'll pause that there, but you get the idea. We're looking at signs and talking about the signs. So that's just one example. There are other video bonuses and audio bonuses. Here's a video bonus from the market in Menton.
Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue à En route avec Coffee Break French. Aujourd'hui, on est en route au marché. We're heading to the market this morning, and this episode is going to be all about vocabulary and improving your vocabulary by learning some words that the market sellers are going to tell us. Allez, en route!
En particulier des cerises, des abricots, des melons, des fraises, des framboises.
And of course, everything it has a transcript as well that you can work through. So this is just a quick look at En route. There are more sample materials of En route on the website, so you can have a look at that and see if this is something that you would enjoy. Very much a flavour of the south of France, and obviously filmed when it was possible to get out and about and film things easily. Hopefully we'll get back to that soon. But that is En route avec Coffee Break French. So do check that out if you're interested in finding out more about this area and practicing your French while doing so. We also have Season 3. Gayatri was talking about Season 3 and what's involved in Season 3. So Season 3 is kind of story-based learning. Basically, over the course of the entire series, we focus on a story which features three people. Katie is an American student living in the south of France, in Nice, in fact, very close to Menton. Veronica is an Australian businesswoman who's also based in Nice, and Alf is a retired English teacher who's also based in Nice. He's just bought a house in Nice. And they interact with each other at the language school that they attend. So while they're attending the language school, they have to write a diary entry, basically, of what they've been getting up to. And obviously, this is it's a created story. It's a fictional story, and it's been written in such a way that learners at this level will really benefit from seeing different vocabulary, different grammar constructions, and also really practical examples of the language that's being discussed in the main episodes. So you're getting constant consolidation throughout the whole series. So Season 3 provides audio content and bonus audio content and lesson notes too. So if you're at an intermediate level, wanting to take your French further, you're looking at using more verb forms, beginning to understand where pronouns are used and so on, this is a really good season to look at. Again, everything is available on the Coffee Break Academy. You're more than welcome to have a look there, and we provide some samples there as well that you can look through. You may well have come across the Season 3 audio podcasts again in our podcast feed. Moving on from Season 3, we also have Season 4, and again, this is story-based learning, where we're really taking things much further. This is based around a story of four people. Basically, there are two people, both of whom have moved to Paris, and they meet each other on the RER platform every day. And they get to know each other, and there's a little bit of romance, but there's also more of a story around this, and you can follow this story too. But the texts that you're reading are emails or letters between the different characters. And so the whole thing is told through these emails, and in those emails you get some really complex French, some really idiomatic expressions, and it gives you a great opportunity to focus on that advanced vocabulary. So Season 4 takes you up very solidly into a B2 level and pushes into C1 again in the European Framework of Reference. So Season 4 also available. We'll have a quick look at Season 4 in the Coffee Break Academy just now, and that will give you a feel for what's involved there. If I just come back to my courses and scroll down to Coffee Break French Season 4. So if I just jump into any episode here, if we go into the Lesson 17, I have no idea what Lesson 17 is about off the top of my head. But you can see, so it's an email from Monique to Sylvie. So Sylvie is the young woman who has moved to Paris, and she's emailing her mother. And between them, they they talk about Sylvie's life and what she's getting up to. But the programme is presented by myself and Pierre Benoit, and then we listen to the text that is read out by Sylvie as she by Monique as she replies to Sylvie's email. So you can see there's lots of French here, English to help us understand certain things, but lots of vocabulary is provided too. So I just jump back to the audio here, then we can play this.
Coffee Break French, Season 4, Episode 17. Bonjour, 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 bonjour.
Ça c'est... Oui, bonjour à vous tous.
On est très content d'être ici encore une fois. Moi, c'est Marc.
Oui, et moi c'est Pierre Benoit. Je ne sais pas si c'est vraiment Marc, parce qu'il a l'air un petit peu déphasé.
Oui, j'ai bien l'air.
So you can hear there that it's a chat between Pierre Benoit and myself, and then we'll listen to the text.
Comment te sens-tu aujourd'hui? Tu as bien récupéré de ton week-end? La reprise n'a pas été trop dure? Encore merci pour tout ce que tu as fait.
So then we go through that in detail and we discuss all of the aspects of this. So there are two audio elements. There is the first audio element where we pick up on 4 main points over the course of the text. And then in the second audio element, we literally go through every line of the text and explain everything in great detail. So that is Season 4, again, available on the Coffee Break Academy and indeed part of our sale. Now, we also have our advanced course that is La Vérité éclate toujours. As I said earlier, this is, in a sense, basically like reading a novel in French. But the good thing is that you have all the support with you. So you get everything that you need to help you understand all aspects of the novel. So if I just go to this slide, it is, as I say, story-based learning times 100. It's like reading a French novel, only with all of the support that you need, because we're talking here about native level grammar and vocabulary. It's not been, in a sense, made easier for learners. It's very much the same kind of language that you would get if you picked a French novel off the shelf and started reading it. This is the level of French that we're looking at in La Vérité éclate toujours. We call it LVET for short. La Vérité éclate toujours. Literally, it means the truth bursts always. It's the French way of saying the truth will out. So it's a crime novel that we're reading because there's a bit of a mystery and we're not quite sure what's happened in the story. Basically, the story centres around James, who's a Scot living in France. He's a journalist, and he comes across, basically his friend Max has been attacked, and we don't really know what's happened and why he's been attacked, but James ends up meeting Max's daughter and his ex-wife, and through the story, they basically discover what has happened to Max. Now, we're in the middle of broadcasting this. So we're at lesson 31, that went out this week, and lesson 32 will be in a couple of weeks' time. And the idea is that each lesson is focused on a chapter of the story. So if I show you what this looks like in the Academy, if we jump to, let me see, chapter 9. I don't know, we'll just jump to chapter 9. So this is the text. You can see it's very much high-level French. We're talking about different types of, we've got different examples of high-level idiomatic expressions and grammatical constructions and so on. And there's a lot of French in that. We actually provide a video version. So if I just go here and play this.
La vérité éclate toujours, chapitre 9. Tout allait trop vite pour James. Il se sentait dépassé par les événements qui s'enchaînaient de plus en plus vite, lui laissant à peine le temps de réaliser toute l'ampleur de la situation. Yvette était bien la fille de Max. Cela ne faisait aucun doute tellement elle lui ressemblait. C'était le portrait craché de son père à l'âge où les deux étudiants en journalisme s'étaient connus.
So there's loads of stuff in there. If we started looking at this text right now, there would be many, many things we'd want to pick up on from a grammatical point of view to explain. But we do that exactly in our texte annoté. So you'll see here, this is the same text. Tout allait trop vite pour James. Il se sentait dépassé. So the verb dépasser has a number of different meanings, but here dépasser could be translated as overwhelmed or out of his depth. So all of this is explained in our notes, and you can see the notes, all these notes go for 10 pages, with everything explained and done in a very straightforward way so that you have everything on the same page and it all makes perfect sense. But in addition to the annotated version of the notes, there's also an audio version of this. So Pierre Benoit and I discuss the text. We go through each line of the text, talking about the language, giving further examples, and ways in which you can use these phrases. And then to take that a little further, what we then do is focus on our atelier linguistique. And that's where we're taking the certain phrases, certain really interesting phrases that have been used in the episode, and then looking at how we could use them in everyday language. So that's another audio element. That's our atelier linguistique. So that in that, I'm joined by a student called Eva. Eva is an advanced student of French and is part of our team. And basically, Eva looks through the text, identifies different phrases that she would like to investigate further, and we discuss them and then look at some translations. So, for example, rien que plus the gerund. In the text we read, il lui expliqua que même un touriste aurait deviné juste l'arrondissement dans lequel il habitait, voire la rue, rien qu'en l'apercevant et avant même qu'il n'ait prononcé le moindre mot. Now, pretty high level French here. And then this is rien qu'en plus our gerund. So we look at sort of more everyday examples of that. We've got an example here. Rien qu'en démarrant la voiture, tu vois bien qu'il va falloir la ramener au garage. Simply by starting the car, you can see that you're going to have to take it back to the garage. So this is available for every single chapter of La Vérité éclate toujours. And so it's a hugely complex and deep learning course. And there are 10 chapters in each part of the course. And we can actually, I think I've got this here. Let me see. Okay, no, it's not actually here, but that's an outline of what we have. Is it here? No, that's on to the next slide. So we've got a complete course which provides access to lessons 1 all the way through to lesson 40, at least up to lesson 31 at the moment, next week 32 and so on. There is also the possibility to buy a single course, which would be just chapters 1 to 10. And if you enjoy it, then you can go on by chapters 11 to 20 and so on. So it's separated into 4 parts. But what we find is learners who are working through La Vérité say that it actually takes them about a week to get through the depth of learning in every single episode because there's so much. We also provide a vocabulary list. So if I just jump back here, we've got a vocabulary list for each episode, so you can cover up one side and test your understanding. And it's provided in an alphabetical list, but also in the order of appearance in the text. So that's really handy as you're working through the text. You can use the vocabulary list too. And all of this lends itself very well. If you're the type of person who likes to print things out and keep it in a folder, it all lends itself very well to just that. So that is La Vérité éclate toujours, our high level, our advanced course in French. And if that is something that interests you, then we would certainly recommend that you have a look at that on our site. Just one other thing I wanted to mention. This is not necessarily French for adults as such, but we also have a course for younger learners, and that's called High Five French. And if in our main Coffee Break French seasons, I am the teacher and Anna is the learner, in High Five we've emulated the same idea where we have, let me see, here we are. So High Five is a course for younger learners where we have Emma, who is the learner, and Mathilde, who is her teacher. And it just so happens Mathilde is the same age as Emma, and together they learn French. So each episode is based around a video lesson, and I can play, I think I've got this here, I can play the sort of promo, the introduction to High Five French here. So if you've got children or grandchildren who are perhaps learning French at school or have just started learning French, or indeed just want to learn French and they can speak to you as a learner too, then this would be the perfect course for them.
Bonjour, bienvenue à Hi-Fi French. Je m'appelle Mathilde.
And my name is Emma. I've come all the way to Paris to see my friend Mathilde, who's going to help me learn some French.
Venez avec nous.
Je ne parle pas français. I don't really speak that much French.
So I'm here to help you.
And while we're learning with Mathilde, we get to see some amazing places. Le français est difficile.
No, it's easy to speak French. English is difficult.
Non, c'est facile.
Moi, je t'apprends le français, toi, tu m'apprends l'anglais.
You teach me French, and I'll teach you English.
Exactement. Nous allons apprendre le français ensemble.
We hope that you enjoy learning French with us on Hi-Fi French.
Alors, on y va?
What does that mean?
Let's go.
Ok, on y va.
C'est parti.
So Hi-Fi French has 40 episodes featuring Emma and Mathilde, and they're all video episodes, so you're able to follow these, or your children or your grandchildren are able to follow these episodes and learn lots of vocabulary, useful phrases with Emma and Mathilde. So that's Hi-Fi French. Now, what I wanted to do just now is touch very briefly on our pricing. As I said, this week we have a special event. It's our Black Friday sale. And this only happens once a year. So let's look at some example pricing. If we look at Coffee Break French Season 1, for example. So Season 1 normally would be £108, including VAT. So here in the UK, we pay VAT, and elsewhere in the EU, there would also be local rates of VAT paid. But at the moment, there's 40% off that. So that price is brought down to £64.80. If you're elsewhere, paying in US dollars, there's no VAT here, this would be $124, and of course that would be brought down to $74.40. So that's the pricing for a full season. That's 40 lessons, and if you divide that $74.40 by 40 lessons, that's very cheap per lesson. I'm not going to do it in my head because that would probably embarrass me. I'm better at French than I am at arithmetic, but basically it's an awful lot cheaper than a cup of coffee in your favorite coffee shop per lesson. Now, our shorter courses also have special pricing this week. So our magazine course, for example, the Coffee Break French magazine, is £36, including VAT in the UK. That's brought down to $21.60. And in the US, that would be $42, brought down to $25.20. Now, we also have our La Vérité éclate toujours course. Now, that's priced differently because you saw quite how much there is in each chapter. So one part of La Vérité éclate toujours for 10 lessons costs £90. And that, again, includes VAT. With the sale, with 40% off, that's down to $54. And again, the US pricing there, $100 down to $60, obviously. And if you wanted to buy all 4 parts of La Vérité éclate toujours together and use the bundle cost there, you would be saving a huge amount. The full cost of this course is a very, very complex and deep course. It's £360, including VAT, and at the moment it's down to $216. So that's an enormous saving. And there are the US costs there, $400 down to $240. Now, you can pay on our website with in pound sterling or in US dollars. Obviously, if you're in another country where neither pound sterling or US dollars is used, you will also be able to pay using your card or whatever, and it will automatically be converted at the time when you're processing that. So we accept payments in pounds and US dollars, but you're able to pay from anywhere by credit card, by debit card, by Apple Pay and Google Pay and PayPal in the US only. So how do you get access to this fantastic saving? All you need to do is use the coupon code BF2021, and that will enable you to get access to these huge savings. And just to be clear, What that means is that when you're signing up for a course, you'll see just under, in your order summary, just under the name of the course and the price, you'll see a link that says click here to add coupon. So you click on that, and then you can enter the coupon code BF2021, then click apply, and then you'll realize that you've saved yourself 40%. So it's really important that you do this, because if you don't do it, it's difficult to apply that after the event. So please do try your best to enter the code. There is a link. No matter where you're buying from, there is definitely a link. So take your time, make sure you see that, click here to add coupon, click on it, enter your coupon, and then you should be able to get the Black Friday discount. Okay. Time for questions. It's time for me to answer any questions that you may have. I've seen a couple more questions come in while we've been talking. I'm very happy to answer any more questions. There's one more thing I wanted to mention just when we're talking about the coupon code, and that is we're also running a prize draw this weekend. Over the course of the whole week, we've been running this. And this prize draw will enable 4 lucky language learners to win our entire learning library. So that's every one of those French courses I've mentioned, all of the main seasons, all of the En Route, the magazines, the travel diaries, all of La Vérité Éclate Toujours, but not only our French courses, but also all our other languages too. So it's over 75 courses in over 31 languages, or 32 languages, and it's a prize that's worth around £4,500 or $6,000. So we're giving away about £18,000 worth of language courses next week. And all you have to do to enter this is use the coupon code BF2021 at checkout. And if you prefer not to use that and not to buy, then you can also enter on our website if you prefer. So I'll just put that link up in a moment. But as I said, it's time for questions. So I'm going to hand it over to our questions here. I'll just put the link up there. So that's the link over there. coffeebreaklanguages.com/BF2021. That is our special page for our Black Friday sale. And there's a form that you can fill in if you would prefer to enter our prize draw without taking advantage of these fantastic savings. And you'd be crazy not to, quite frankly. So please do think about using our Black Friday coupon code to get 40% off your language learning. Okay, to the questions. Let's look at Maria's question. Will there be the whole story of La Vérité at the end of part 4 as an audiobook? This was discussed earlier in the year, as far as I remember. Yes, there will be. In actual fact, we've already done audiobooks for parts 1, 2, and 3. So you can access those, and those are in the Academy if you've already got access to parts 1, 2, and 3 of La Vérité. So the audiobooks are there for the full section. And that's basically the opportunity to listen to the entire story without any stopping, without any discussion. By that time, presumably, you'll have gone through the whole story, gone through all of the audio, gone through all of the vocabulary, and made lots of notes yourself. But yes, we will be adding the part 4 audio to the full story. And we could also add the full audiobook to the bundle version of the course, because you would have to have bought all 4 versions, all 4 parts of the course in order to get access to that. I hope that answers your question, Maria. Peter is asking, is CBF2Go Online a premium product? I've been listening to the podcast version de Nantes and I'm enjoying immensely. I also have enjoyed the travel diaries en français, bien sûr. Merci beaucoup, Peter. So we have a premium course of Coffee Break French to Go. It provides lesson notes that are in addition to the videos. So basically there's some explanation of the vocabulary and a transcript of everything that you hear in the videos. We also did of the second season a podcast version. So that's also part of the course. You can find that on the Coffee Break Academy, and hopefully you will enjoy that, Peter. I'm glad you've been enjoying the travel diaries too. Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Maria. Glad that worked. If you do have any other questions, do let me know. We're on for another couple of minutes. One other thing I wanted to mention is the fact that the sale finishes on Tuesday. So this coming Tuesday will be the very last day of the sale, and finishes at 11:55 p.m. UK time. So that's 6:55 Eastern. Don't miss out on the sale by not taking advantage of the course of the discount before then. If you are considering going for one of our courses, or even buying ahead in a sense for next year, if you're thinking, yeah, I'd like to learn, improve my French, or take the next step in my French next year, then now is the best time to get started with that. A question that we had earlier via social media would be, sorry, I'm just going to mute notifications there. A question that we had earlier was about our club and our Coffee Break French magazine season 2 and the Travel Diary season 3, which are new courses. These are courses that are not yet released. And of course, these are not available for purchase yet, so they're not part of the sale. So I hope that makes sense. We're not offering special pricing on those at this stage because they're not part of our sale. They're not available yet, so of course they're not part of the sale. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you about. I don't think so. Again, if you have any further questions, if you're watching the replay of this, then you're very welcome, and hopefully you've benefited from this look behind the scenes of all our French courses. If you're a Spanish learner, don't forget that we're doing this all over again tomorrow for Spanish. And we'll be taking a look at all our Spanish courses and going behind the scenes of the Coffee Break Academy for that. For now, I would like to say merci beaucoup. J'espère que vous passez une très bonne journée. I hope that it continues to be a pleasant day for you wherever you are, whatever time you're watching this at. As ever, in the meantime, I'd just like to wish you bonne continuation, happy continuation. I love that phrase in French, bonne continuation. And of course, happy coffee breaking. Don't miss out on the Black Friday sale with 40% off everything until Tuesday by using that coupon code BF2021. But thank you so much for watching and sticking with us right to the end. I hope this has been useful, and we'll be back soon with more French content for you. But in the meantime, merci beaucoup et à la prochaine. Salut!
In our 2021 Black Friday sale, you can save 40% on all Coffee Break Languages courses. You can benefit from huge savings on Coffee Break English, French, Chinese, German, Spanish, Italian and Swedish, simply by using the coupon code BF2021 at checkout. Our sale is now on and runs until the 30th of November. That's not all. We are also running a prize draw this week in which you could win our entire learning library. That's over £4,500 or $6,000 worth of language courses. This is our biggest sale ever, and there won't be discounts like this again for at least another year. For everything you need to know, head to coffeebreaklanguages.com/BF2021, and we'll see you there.